Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today for our virtual panel discussion with our AdventHealth Celebration Leadership at our campus there. My name is Angie Duplass, and I am a nurse residency talent sourcer with AdventHealth. I've been here for coming up on 6 years, and I'm super happy to be here today. I'm going to host our conversation, and what we're going to do is just ask some questions and have a conversation amongst friends with our leadership team and learn about the campus, learn about them, and what it's like to be part of the AdventHealth Celebration Campus. So I would love for my fellow panelists to go around and introduce themselves today.
Well, I'm Patty Jo, even though it says Michelle on there, because Michelle had to send me her link because mine wasn't working. So I'm Patty Jo Tor. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer here at AdventHealth Celebration.
Thank you, Patty Jo. Michelle, real Michelle?
Yes, I'm Michelle Cerevolo. I am one of the nursing directors here for inpatient nursing.
Thank you. Lisa?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Phillips. I'm the orthopedic clinical coordinator here at the hospital.
Thank you. Beth?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Beth Cartwright. I am one of the nurse managers for the PCU observation and multi-system PCU unit.
And Annalie?
Good morning. My name is Annalie. I'm one of the assistant nurse managers for the emergency department.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us again. We're really glad you're here. We're glad to be here. So just to let you know, as our attendees, your mics have been placed on mute, but we very much encourage you to ask any and all questions that you have in the chat so that we can answer them either there or in our conversation. We do want you to participate. We're here for you. So do any thoughts, any concerns, any questions that you have, anything you want to know, we are here for you and we want to engage with you. So do use the chat function. And we're going to jump right in. My goal is to, again, have everybody to be able to know our leaders here, to know AdventHealth, and to know AdventHealth Celebration specifically. So we're going to dive right in and start asking some questions. So Michelle, you're going to be my first, and I was wondering, for what areas are you hiring?
We are hiring for every area, all the areas that you can think of, we're hiring. So we need nursing, LPNs, RNs, patient care techs, environmental service, transport, nutritional service, consumer access, patient guest services, registration. So anything you can think of, we are in need of staff, and we are opening up a new department, which is in a 40-bed unit. So all our ancillary areas and our nursing areas, we have needs. So
that's exciting. Okay, so since you're hiring in all these spaces, can you share with me what you would be looking for in the ideal candidates?
Absolutely. Of course, we want someone who has a positive attitude. We want someone with fresh, positive ideas, energetic, honesty, of course, hard worker. We want to make sure that individuals are ready to come to work and they're seeking to find work and they're ready to be actively involved. And we also want to have a patient-centric focus, because it's our patients, our community that we're taking care of, our family members. So we really want to be focused on our patients and providing exceptional care for them.
You mentioned something that I think that typically comes up in some of the conversations that we have with upcoming nurse graduates, and that is keeping in mind that you're not just serving the patients, that you're serving the patients and their families. That is honestly how I came to be part of the AdventHealth family. Is my husband was a guest of AdventHealth, and myself seeing the difference, seeing and feeling the difference of the level of care, not just for him, but for myself as being part of the family, that's panicking, So I appreciate that you really touched on that so that people can really understand that it's not just the patient in front of you, but it's their family and the community. So Beth, can you tell me what is a typical day like for nurses on your units?
Absolutely. So one of the great things that I love about AdventHealth, I've been here for 12 years, is that we always start with an energizer in the morning or in the afternoon. So it's coming in at 6:40, 6:45 and getting to know what's happening on the unit. I have the A&Ms leading out. So we start with what's going on, what do we expect for our day? And then we start our day with a prayer. After we get our prayer, we get to go ahead and we get to do bedside report, get to learn about our patients. It's super important for us, as Michelle had mentioned, about having that patient-centered care and being able to provide that. So they're able to see who the oncoming nurse is, the offgoing nurse, and being able to have that discussion with them. After they get report, they're doing their assessments for their day. They have the medication that they're going to be doing rounds. We do every 4-hour assessments for our patients, every 8 hours, depending on the unit. Hourly visits, making sure that we're rounding with the doctors, having that MDR communication, and just really truly being able to provide exceptional care with those patients on whatever it is that we're able to do to care for them, because nobody necessarily wants to be in the hospital, but how do we make sure that that experience is absolutely the greatest for them while they're here? And then we end the day with passing them off to the next shift.
I appreciate that perspective, and that's beautiful that you're setting everybody else up for success, and just what a wonderful way to support one another. Patty Jo, what kinds of things would you say set AdventHealth Celebration apart from the other hospital campuses?
Well, I've been here for a really long time. So I've been the CNO for 11 years, and I've been at this campus for 18. And I would say it's the community that we have on this campus. So whether it's our EBS workers, our nutritional services, transporters, nurses, we all work together as one community. So I think it's part of that you feel like you're coming here as a family and we work together. You know, Michelle said that she likes, we're looking for people with positive attitudes and great ideas. One of the things that sets Celebration apart is that we're a magnet hospital, and only 9% of the hospitals in the United States are magnet. And we are the adult hospital within AdventHealth as a corporation. Our children's hospital has magnet, but we're the only adult hospital that has it. And the reason that we're magnet is that I believe that our nurses have the great ideas. You do not want me solving your problems. You want me to remove barriers that you have. But we have a great nurse practice council that we bring in nurses from the direct care staff. Actually, the problems are brought by them and they solve their problems. And then I go in at the end and we talk about what do I need to do to help them remove the barriers so those problems or those solutions can be implemented. So having nurses have a voice, I think, is really important because they have great ideas and they know how to solve the problem. So I think that is one area that I think that we're really special here, is really going to my direct care staff for any issues that I have. I like them to help me solve them. So that's very important. We also have a very unique medical pipeline where we have our EVS and nutritional services and transporters. We actually help them go through school to become PCTs. So we have like 14 of our transporters have become PCTs or HUCs. We have our EVS workers that are moving up and becoming PCTs and going into the clinical field. Now, do I think all of them are going to be nurses? No, but they've started in the clinical field, and some of them want to go into radiology, some of them want to go into lab, but it really is a growth for them. So they stay here. And again, it's community. I did see there was a question there about our ratios. And I just want to clarify. So the ratios that we have at our campus is our PCUs are 4-to-1. Now, are there times when we have to stretch to 5-to-1? We do, because you may not have a PCU level patient. Maybe you have 2 or 3 that are med surg, and we haven't downgraded them because we don't have rooms for them on the med surg unit. We also have our PCTs, our budgeted to be 1 to 10. Sometimes people call out, so then your PCT has to pick up more. But we really work very hard to support our nurses so that those ratios are within the normal guidelines. So I wouldn't say every single day they're perfect, because staffing, that's why we're here, because we need more staff, but staffing may not be ideal, but our ideal is to have it 4 to 1, and then have our PCTs 1 to 10.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know, touching on the concept of growth, I think that that is so important. I think that's also really on a lot of people's minds when they're considering, where do I want to go for my next step of employment? Where do I want to go with my career path? And if you feel comfortable with sharing, I would love to know, did you always know that you wanted to go into leadership?
No, no idea. I started off as an oncology nurse, and then I did home care for about 11 years. And then I ended up at Celebration to be an oncology clinical coordinator, or our educator basically was my role. And then I just got into developing service lines. So when I started here in 2004, we had 104 beds. And we're now up to 317, and we add 40 more in January, with plans to build another tower. So I just really loved being with the nurses and loved coming up with new and innovative ideas and thinking strategy. And the CEO at the time saw that in me, and she invested her time in me. So we grow our nurses. You know, when you have growth at a campus, it's really nice because we see those units opening up. And every time a unit opens up, you need a new manager, you need A&Ms, and, you know, I need more directors. I can't keep loading everything on Michelle and my other directors. So no, there's plenty of growth here at Celebration and opportunities. And we provide opportunities in being on committees and doing things that are just not leadership. But I think every nurse is a leader, whether you have a title or not. Leadership, you're all leaders because you're leading every day each other. So there's plenty of opportunity for leading.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. So Lisa, would you share with me, why did you choose AdventHealth Celebration, and what attracted you to the AdventHealth brand in general?
Sure. So a lot of the things that Patty Jo just talked about, right? So our campus is, we're a magnet accredited institution, which is just so unique and important, particularly from a nursing perspective, because all the things that Patty Jo just said, I can validate very much true to the culture here. Nursing has a very strong voice at this campus. We are empowered to identify issues and solve them, and we're supported when we come to the table with solutions. With getting those escalated appropriately, getting rid of those barriers. And, you know, so I can attest to all of the things that Patty Jo just said as someone who is fairly new to the campus, but been given that opportunity to, you know, grow in that short period of time. So Celebration itself has a reputation for innovation here. I think that's a word that both Michelle used and Patty Jo, and it's so very true. We have so many unique service lines in regard to surgeries, and then also that innovation from the perspective of nursing, where again we're empowered to use our skills, and not just the nursing skills that you have, but those transferable skills you learn over time, where you're able to run programs, project manage, change management, a lot of those things that you develop over the years. And maybe you don't know that's what it is, but that helps, they help you here to identify those types of skills that you have and then grow them in your journey in your career through leadership, or you know, finding your niche within the organization. So so I can't say enough about all of the good things that are here at Celebration. So as far as the being attracted to the AdventHealth brand, well, I feel like within AdventHealth and specifically at Celebration, we have a really strong desire to do the right thing for the patient. right? Not the easy thing, but the right thing. So I do think that that's something that's very important and unique to the AdventHealth brand, and taking care of our patients like they are our family. We wear these badges and it says, I care for you like my, right? And mine says my daughter Caroline. And it's very true when we talk about the quality of care that we give to our patients. Is it something that we would want to our family to have? Right. And we really stick true to that. I want to care for you like you're someone that I love outside of these walls, because someone loves you outside of these walls. Right. So, so just keeping that top of mind. And I think that that's very just in line and unique to what we provide our patients here at AdventHealth.
And I think that is such a beautiful way of living the mission, our mission of extending the healing ministry of Christ. So you hear that and it's like, okay, wow. But then when you really sit with that, well, what does that mean? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And I think the way that you express that just sums it up so perfectly. So thank you for sharing that. Patty Jo, you had mentioned having been at Celebration for quite some time. What keeps you at the Celebration campus?
Because it's Celebration. I'm allowed to really come up with fresh ideas and do the things that I want to do here. So, we try a lot of different projects here and innovation. And I have a seat at the table, which is really important for nursing in our C-suite. And I'm allowed to really advance nursing here. And, I guess I'm chicken. I don't know that I'd go to another campus, but why test the water someplace else when I'm really happy here? And I love my job. I love the staff that I have. I like watching them grow. And, sometimes it's hard when you've grown somebody and they're in a role and you hear about another really great opportunity at another campus. And I'll call them and tell them, there's a great opportunity at another campus. And I think you should apply for it. It's hard to see them go, but then, I'll see them at meetings and they're flourishing. So, I just really I love my job. So I really don't want to go anywhere else. And I was going to ask you, Angie, do you want me to answer some of these questions? Because I see some that I could answer for you.
That would be wonderful.
I'll just type in the answers while other people. Okay,
sure.
so
thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dive right in. Yeah, we are here to engage with them. As so many of the leaders have already said in our conversation, that we are here for the community. We're here for, our patients and really just the way that we engage with our people. So thank you for going ahead and diving in. So this next question is going to be for Annalee. What are some of the things that you do for your floors to increase morale for your team? Because I know that not every day is an easy day, and you might have some challenging experiences. So what are some of the things that you would do for your unit to kind of keep them propped up? Oh, Annalee, are you still with us? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes.
As I was saying, good morning. I'm going to speak about the emergency department. Our shift is very different every single moment, every single day. There is a lot of urgency on our floor, and it is hard to see sometimes when nurses feel very tired, very they can go so far, go, and then they start, their morale does go down. One thing that we do, our leaders on our floor, is that we are hands-on. Yes, we have the leadership part. Yes, we have our responsibilities to take care of, but we drop those responsibilities and we're on the floor. We take an assignment for them. We take a patient from them. Whatever the load is that they will feel supported, we're always there to support them. We're constantly checking, making sure that they're okay throughout the day, that we rotate them within even the same shift if they feel like they're too overwhelmed. We have built relationships with our staff, and I can't not only just speak for my floor, but I think for all floors. There is a bond between us. We are constantly checking on each other. Even if we're not working, we're getting those text messages. We're texting them. Are you okay? Do you need anything? I know this is going on. There's always a clear communication among leadership. So that is very important. They feel supported. We have our direct one-on-ones. And even if they're not are part of our direct leadership report, we still communicate with everyone and we foster each other to grow and provide that care.
Wow. And for our attendees, you'll see a wonderful video at the end of our conversation, but I just really think that touches on the seeing the whole you. I think that when we come into this space, especially after COVID, right, we all started to reevaluate, what am I looking for out of my employment experience? And I think being seen as a whole person. So I think that's so beautiful that you do that. You go the extra mile for your people. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Beth, I would love for you to tell me, how did you get into nursing? One of my favorite questions to ask any nurse is how you got into nursing, but I would love to hear your story. How did you get into nursing and how the mission of AdventHealth has affected your career?
Thank you for asking that. It was a very small child. I always wanted to do healthcare. But I had the privilege of my mom working in a nursing home, and she worked in every single area of the nursing home. And I can remember when times were really different, she would bring me in when she was working on occasions, and I would sit with this elderly gentleman and we would fold towels together. I was probably 4, 5, 6 years old. And I can remember very distinctly folding towels with him and just keeping him entertained during his shift, during her shift while she was there. And it just brought in this passion and desire of mine that then I went into volunteering there, and just moving forward I knew I always wanted to take care of somebody from those experiences. So then I started at the age of 17 with my CNA. Then I got my LPN by 19 and my RN by 20, and I worked my way through. And when I lived in Florida way back in 2005, I worked for AdventHealth. And back, it was Florida Hospital. I moved away. My husband got a job elsewhere, and we moved back. We moved to California. We moved to some other states. And I realized the mission here, extending the healing ministry of Christ, was so impactful that I had the privilege to pray with patients. There was this different atmosphere as you walked into the hospital. When I worked for these other organizations in California, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and Minnesota, and all these different places, you weren't allowed to do certain things. So when we decided to move back to Florida, I made it that it took time to get in, and I would not take another position anywhere else other than at the time Florida Hospital. And I waited for months to take a position here, because extending the healing ministry of Christ isn't just to our patients. You feel it from our leaders, from Michelle and Patty Jo. They're advocating for us. They are our voice, and they are a strong voice, and they have a strong seat at that table that they can help provide different things that other organizations might not necessarily care for their team the way that AdventHealth does. So it doesn't just go to our patients, but we feel it as employees of our system as well, that they truly do care about us as people, as individuals, and they help support us in different ways as well. And I just love the fact that I get to be here every day. It's not a job, it's a gift to be here.
Oh, wow. That is powerful. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Annalie, I would love to circle back to the conversation that you were sharing with us earlier and talking about your unit and your team. What is the work-life balance for the nurses at AdventHealth?
Okay, so that is a very important question. Work balance is very important in order to continue loving your career, to continue having that passion. And I feel it starts with us. It starts with the person itself. If we can't be happy, if we can't feel the emotion, then we can't care for others, right? So it has to start with us. That love and passion has to start with us. I am going through that work-life balance. I have different roles in my life. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a nurse, I'm myself, and now in January I will be a student. I'm still going and keep going, trying to grow. So having my priorities set, know what is important, that I have to take care of myself too, is important in order to be my best for everyone, my team, my family, and anyone around me. So I feel being organized, having that set frame of this is what I'm doing today. This is how my week looks. This is my me time is very important. I feel when taking time off, when there's a need to take time off, it is also important for you to recharge and come back and be all energized. To me, I don't seem that is difficult because it's my passion. I'm a fairly new nurse. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be my 5th year into nursing. This is my 2nd career. And I just go by the service standards of Celebration and AdventHealth. I've grown so much in many different ways. I started as a staff nurse. I started as a relief charge, and I am A&M, and that just comes with the passion and the opportunities that Celebration gives you. So taking care of self first and then taking care of others is the only way that you can have that balance in your life.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to kind of pick on something that you just mentioned, and that was the second career aspect of it. And I think that that's something that I really want people to know that AdventHealth embraces and supports. People coming in with veterans coming in and being able to translate those skills. I think it was Lisa earlier that mentioned translatable skills from other kinds of things. And to know, I want people to know that we do look for that. We do support that. And we want you to take that experience that you have previously and bring it into our facilities. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I think that's really important.
You're
You
welcome.
don't have to share about your previous role, but
it's okay. I can share. I have a bachelor's in business and administration. I did that for a couple of years. I was in a very severe accident where I needed a team that I have now, that I'm part of it now. I was 6 months in coma, cardiac arrest. It was a whole situation that I went through. Maybe it was just my second chance to say, this is your opportunity to be here. And this is where I found my passion. I found my passion that nursing, I wanted to give back what a team did once for me. And that just sparked. I learned how to walk again, how to be myself. It was a whole transformation. And I said, I want to give my life to serving others, because one day a team did that for me, right? And that's how I found my passion. And now being in the leadership role, I have connected my both past and career into the passion that I have now. So I'm still able to put in my education that I had previously, now combined with my nursing career. And now it's how I found this passion for leadership, and specifically for Celebration. I would not want to go anywhere else. I don't see this as a job. I see it as my passion. Every day is not easy. Of course it's not. But when you have that passion and that love for what you do, it is not a job.
You're making me tear up. Thank you for sharing that beautiful, wonderful, and vulnerable story. I think that AdventHealth is full of wonderful stories like that. And I'm so grateful for you to share that, because I think sometimes people see somebody in an amazing leadership role, and you think, it's easy to think, oh, well, it just came easy for this person. And to see and to know and to hear that is absolutely not the case, but that you worked for it because you were so moved, and now you are that person being there for people in the way that they were there for you is so beautiful. Thank you. So Lisa, can you share with me a little bit more about the culture at Celebration and what makes it a great place to work?
Sure. So there are so many good things that I can say. I know I mentioned the last time, but I did mention that I'm new in this role. I've been here about 6 months, and I find that when people are asking me, how are things going? How are you? Right? All I can say is that I'm having fun. And I think that's really important, and speaks a lot to the culture here at Celebration. the role that I'm in as orthopedic coordinator, it's unique. And, we're working with the orthopedic surgery population. And from that perspective, the role of the coordinator is to oversee those things. And if you ask me, what do I do? It's a little different every day. But I have the opportunity to identify the things that I want to focus on to improve. And I have ownership over that, which is really, it speaks to the culture here at Celebration, again, talking about how nursing is really empowered to own and move their work in the way that they want to. And that's fun, right? When you
And I did not pay her to say this, okay? This is all from their hearts.
Yeah.
There's no bribery going on.
Of course.
This is all them. Just want to make sure that's clear.
So that's really cool. Just being in this job where I get to say I'm having fun every day. The other things that are really great about the culture here at Celebration is the opportunity to grow professionally and personally. The leaders who are in place, you can see how they were intentionally selected to be in their positions, right? And I feel very fortunate to have a really great leader who cares about me truly as a person before anything, which is just so important in any role. If you've ever had and worked in a position where you haven't had that, I think you know how important it is once you do have it, and then you don't want to leave it. So there's that. Also, as far as professional development goes, the culture here at Celebration is, we grow our own. And so there's actually a built-in mentorship program here where when you come in for your orientation, they tell you there, if you would like to have a mentor at our campus, we can set that up for you. And there's a structured program that you can participate in, which is really valuable. I think if you're trying to find your way, either in a new job or to identify what your passions are or what your goals are. I have taken advantage of that program. It's been very helpful. And then there's other just really great things that happen here that are fun. Like during fall, we had Fall Festival and in the executive offices, and everybody decorated. There was lights and costumes, and it was really great. And every single person that worked in this hospital was invited to walk through those offices and see that and participate. We did the same thing recently for the holidays. We all got big giant cookies and hot chocolate, right? And those things are just so unique and important, and we all look forward to it. And those are the good things that make you keep wanting to come back to work, right? That saying, you may not remember what somebody says, but you remember how they made you feel. That's what I feel about here. I walk into work and I'm happy to be here. And it's not uncommon for people. I may not know the person who walked in scrubs in the hallway past me, but we're going to say hello to each other and look each other in the eyes and smile because we're all just happy to be here, So I love that. I keep going, but I think you get the point.
I love that I've heard several times from several leaders in this conversation the inclusivity of everybody across the spectrum. It isn't, the nurses and then everybody else, that every single person, no matter your role, no matter your whatever you're doing there, your purpose for being there is an important part of that family and functionality of what makes Celebration so great. And I love hearing that. Thank you so much for bringing that up and for sharing your wonderful stories. I will go back and we might circle back around to hear more of that goodness. But Annalie, I would love to hear again. Tell me what makes a good shift in your unit? What is your ideal shift? What does that look like?
So a good shift starts with us, starts with the leader. When coming into Energizer, having a positive attitude, having that a positive, that smile that says, okay, the department out there does not look that great, but we're going to make it great. We can't start prayer without Energizer without a prayer. We have different shifts in our department, and every shift gets an Energizer because we are welcoming to the unit. This is what's happening. And we always end every Energizer with a prayer. Great communication. It does not matter what is out there, what happens every second of the shift. Communication, being together, working as a team, everything feels different when we're a team. When we're individualized and one does one thing, one does another, that doesn't work. And unfortunately, the load feels different. But that connection, that constant checking on the staff, even our higher leaders, do you need anything? Many times, Giselle, Patty Jo have walked into the department. How are we doing? How can we help you? Can we take patients upstairs? I feel we are just one whole team. It's not about titles. We don't need titles. We work together and get through our day for the best care of their patient and their families. So that teamwork is what makes a good day, and the attitude.
Thank you so much for that. And I know that you have to step away soon. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being a nurse. Oh my goodness. I thank you for sharing your journey. And again, I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So now that everybody is in love with AdventHealth Celebration and everybody wants to work with you, Michelle, can you share some wonderful resume tips of how somebody can stand out as a candidate?
Absolutely. So after hearing all those wonderful things, now that you want to work with us and come to Celebration, just keep your resume very concise, to the point, not a bunch of pages, 1 to 2 pages only. I don't think I've ever read all the words on a 3rd page or 4th page of a resume. I'll glance at it, but the first page is what I really look at when I look at a resume. You want to put your key information on that page, your skills, what makes you stand out from others. And so use keywords to describe your skills, what makes you qualified for this role, and highlight your accomplishments, not just your responsibilities and tasks in a job, but what have you accomplished in those roles. So we really want to see that. And most of all, please proofread your resume and make sure there's no typos, because it really, that's one area where we're like, okay, they didn't just throw this together. They really have something, put some thought into this. And, you know, your resume is the first introduction to you, but then when you sit down for your interview, you'll be able to highlight that more in depth. And that will help you keep it more condensed and down to 1 or 2 pages. We don't need to know what you did 20 years ago unless it applies and pertains to now, but what's relevant for this job in this role.
Awesome. Okay, so say a candidate has taken Michelle's wonderful advice and they have a great resume and they land that interview. Lisa, what are some interview tips that you feel help a candidate to be successful?
Sure. So I think that when you're interviewing, it's important that you are able to really define what you can bring to the organization, right? It's important that you are able to communicate your skills, but more importantly, your value and how you can positively impact and make change in an organization. I think that it's important that you're prepared to answer questions about your growth and how you would like to your plan for career and that kind of thing. And I don't know that you need to have a really defined answer for, where do you see yourself in 5 years or anything like that, because we all have very different ideas of what life will be like. And then 5 years happens and you're like, how did I get here? But it is important that you are able to at least speak to, what you believe your trajectory might be or how you would like to get there. A lot of times in interviews, I think kind of going back to what I talked about with those transferable skills, we get very much into the mindset of I can do this skill, I can work this equipment, that kind of thing. But how does that translate into you as a like we want to know more about you as a person, and then how are you using those sort of skills, and how does it transfer into things that are valuable to the organization? So I think if you can take that opportunity to push yourself to think a little bit differently about how are you going to sell yourself in an interview, it will allow for probably more success that way, as opposed to being into the mindset of, I want to be this nurse, like this nursing job on this unit, and here's how I'm going to show you I can do that job. Like most of the time when you're at that interview process, it's because we kind of believe you can do the job. Now you just really need to convince us that you're the person for it, right? So
Ah, thank you. And I want to take this time. Okay, so Michelle has shared some wonderful ways to get your resume ready, and Lisa has shared some wonderful ways to be prepared for an interview. I think it's a good opportunity to talk about here. Today is Tuesday, and guess what happens on Wednesday? Walk-in Wednesday interviews. And that is an opportunity for all of you people who are interested in having a career at AdventHealth Celebration to show up and potentially get an interview and even potentially get an offer. So if you are interested in having a role at AdventHealth Celebration, you're ready with your resume and you're ready with your interview skills, you can come every Wednesday between 10 to noon, correct? And have an opportunity to interview. And I think that that's such a great way. You know, sometimes people feel like, gosh, I really want to work there. And I feel like there's these barriers in between. We have an applicant tracking system for a reason for our recruiters, because we get tons of applications. And I remember Beth mentioning that when she was coming back to AdventHealth, then Florida Hospital, that it took some time. It took some time for the right alignment of the right role and the right timing to come to fruition. And I think this is just such a beautiful opportunity. So I just wanted to insert that in as it felt like a really good opportunity to share about Walk-in Wednesdays. So Beth, I want to pivot a little bit, into my world of nurse residency. And what would you say are some characteristics of new nurses that nurse managers look for?
So as we're doing interviews, a lot of times it's not about necessarily the skill, because we know we have a lot of graduate nurses, but it's about the integrity that somebody brings, the communication skills, the attention to the detail. Do they have that caring attitude, and are they committed to learning? Because one of the things that someone taught me many years ago is that you can teach a skill, but you can't necessarily change a person or their personality. So it's just coming in with that open heart and open mind to all of those different things, wanting that mindset that we want to improve and constantly change our nursing practice to provide better patient care. So it's that willingness to be able and open to feedback, to constantly evolve.
Okay, so would you say that there's any skills or characteristics that maybe a GN is lacking right out of school in the eyes of a nurse manager?
So when we have GNs coming, a lot of times their biggest challenge or their biggest hiccup is the time management, and then pivoting from nursing school where they teach you textbook, and realizing that nursing isn't necessarily textbook. It's coming into your day and taking on whatever it is that gets thrown at you. And how do we pivot from what we think our ideal day is to what is coming at us, and how do we learn from it, that problem solving skills that does evolve with time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that opportunity. And are there opportunities for graduate nurses at Walk-in Wednesdays?
Absolutely. I will tell you that almost every single day, every single Walk-in Wednesday for the last few months, I've been interviewing a lot of graduate nurse candidates and getting the opportunity to provide offers to quite a few of them. And I'm very excited to learn as they're graduating and seeing their journey. So they're coming in as advanced nurse techs during their last semester of school. And we're getting to know them that way and building on their foundation of being a PCT and growing into that graduate nurse, so we can help mold and make them into the nurse they're going to be someday.
So Angie,
Yeah.
to go back on what Beth was saying, We know that our nurses that are coming out need some help with time management. They also need sometimes that building that critical thinking, because you've learned it in school from a book. Now you're seeing it in a real person, and maybe what they're demonstrating or presenting with isn't exactly textbook. So you have to learn those critical thinking skills. So at Celebration, what we've done is we've really invested in our educators. So we have educators at night that most places don't have, because night shift usually is one that there isn't a lot of support. So we have educators at night, we have educators in the day, and we started last year something that we call our clinical expert facilitators. So these are expert nurses that work with our graduates after they've done their precepting. And what it does is it takes them from doing their everyday tasks and doing it the routine ways that they've been taught, to really integrating those critical thinking skills to elevate them to be a much higher level nurse. So we're taking these novice nurses and we're having these expert nurses hold their hands through this, and we found that it's been great. We have a very low separation rate of our GNs, where some other systems have a much higher separation, because nurses will leave the field if they don't feel supported and that they're not learning and if they don't have a voice. So at Celebration, we've tried to really give them that support so that they know what they're doing and they go home and they feel confident in the work that they're doing. So that's one area that I'm very pleased with, that we really have been supporting here at Celebration.
Thank you so much. I think that's so powerful. And if any, nurse leaders want to jump in on this, one of the conversations that I have a lot with new nurses, they're very focused on wanting a specific unit. Have you ever come across a situation where maybe in your career you didn't get the unit that you wanted right away? And even yes or no, what can a new nurse do? Like, how can they make the most of whatever unit that they're on until they get to the point where they're working in the unit of choice?
So I can answer some of that. So nursing, there's so many opportunities out there for nursing and so many fields that you can go. So we have interviewed a lot of candidates that want specifically ED, or may want to go into mother baby, or pediatrics, and there's just not those positions out there all the time and available. So they have to take option 2. So I always encourage, especially GNs, to figure out how they can build their skill set and their knowledge in what area that would benefit them moving forward. So going into like a PCU level of care, which gives you a head to toe knowledge of your patients, you get all systems covered, and you get a real good base of your knowledge. You can pretty much go anywhere after that. You can go to ICU if you want ICU, you can go into mother baby, you could go into the ED. It really gives you a solid foundation. So if you can't have that first choice, I would really just focus on something that gives you the most knowledge and depth for the future to move forward.
Thank you. So one of the questions that we have being asked are, does AdventHealth Celebration utilize LPNs?
Yes. So currently we have 2 departments that have an LPN model, an RN LPN model, and the unit that we're opening up, the 5th floor multi-system PCU, will also have an LPN RN model. So it really goes back to that pipeline of growing our staff and giving them opportunities to shine, right? They can go from PCT to LPN. Maybe that fits into their life a little bit more. We want to give them the opportunity to work here as an LPN, and then they can go from LPN to RN and move forward if they want to. And we've had quite a few graduate, or are going to be graduating soon, from LPN to the bridge to RN. And we have some PCTs that are in LPN school. So we're interviewing quite a few. The new unit, I think we have 10 10 LPNs we just made offers on, and we're needing more. So we definitely have those opportunities. The staff, they were fearful at first because we haven't worked with LPNs in so long. I came from a system that did. I started my nursing career with an LPN that taught me so much. And so I really embrace the LPNs here because they do come with a different mindset as patient-centered, and they really give that extra care to our patients, and they're so knowledgeable. And once our RNs realized how valuable they are, they really started to embrace the models of working with the LPN and RNs.
We were actually the first campus that started it. We were given permission because it was a model that I felt strongly about. And we have a IRB research study around utilizing LPNs and their growth. So we're very supportive. We're hiring for our throughput team that will help bring our patients from the ED or surgery, get report, bring them in, do their admissions, and take them upstairs and actually give the report and settle them in on the unit and do those admissions for the nurses. So we're utilizing LPNs in all different ways. So if you're interested, just let us know. We'll use you. And we'll put you through school, and oh, and the other thing we have is I actually have one educator that is just for our LPNs. So Marie, she helps them. She's part of our research study, but she helps them on the unit that they're on. If they're going to school and they need assistance, then she's there to help them with that too. So that was a real plus for us to have her.
That's amazing. Are we allowed to talk about the new unit, the new specialty unit, or is that still secret?
Oh, no, it's opening up on January 5th. And I'm going to let Michelle talk about it because I try to grow people. So I've been here for a while and have built several units. So Michelle really is leading out on building this. So she's learned all sorts of wonderful things in working with our construction teams and timing and hiring. So Michelle, you go ahead and take the star on this one.
Okay, so yes, our new unit, we are going to have a multi-system PCU. So there's not going to be a specific service line that we're focused on this specific unit. So it's really encumbers all of the patients' illnesses that we need to take care of for our community. It's a 32-bed unit. Beth will be the manager of the department, and she is onboarding 4 A&Ms for her leadership team. We will do the LPN RN model on the unit, and we'll have PCTs, HUCs, LPNs, RNs, and it's going to be a beautiful, wonderful unit to work on.
How exciting. Another question that we had from a candidate is, are there opportunities for laboratory technologists?
Yes, there is. We have our lab uses our lab tech. So I would just apply. I don't know what the number is of the openings that they have, but we do have openings there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. We are getting close to wrapping up our conversation. So I wanted to just put it out there. If there's any other things that that's on your heart or that you want to share, I'd love to do another round through everybody to have an opportunity to, hear, in our time together, if there's something that you really wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to, please let me know and we will dive in.
Well, one thing I can let people know is that we are a community hospital. So when you think community hospital, you usually don't think of the services that we offer. So at our hospital, we have quite a few services. We have a bariatric program that was first certified in Florida. So we're long-term bariatric program with great outcomes. We do open heart surgery here. We do EP, cardiac. We do neurosurgery. We have vascular surgery here. So we do quite a few complex surgeries. We're robotic center. I mean, we do a lot of robotics here, and we do quite a bit of chemo or oncology, which is my background. Here also some very complex head and neck surgery. So as a small community hospital, sometimes people think that it's just your bread and butter of services, but we really do offer quite a bit here. So there's opportunities to learn a lot of different skills. So
I hear a lot of nurses talk about that's what they want to do, is have the ability to learn something new. And if you don't know that AdventHealth, one of the cornerstones of AdventHealth for our attendees, is wellness. We started as a new wellness concept back in 1908, and wellness continues to be a vital part of our culture. So if anybody was partaking in the wellness initiatives, I just saw something about that incentive is going to be added to our paychecks coming up soon. So it's just a wonderful opportunity to get a benefit for doing things that you're probably doing anyways, of caring for yourself. I got points for doing a drinking water challenge. But one of the things that I also hear talked about in some of our information sessions with students is they want to know about the wellness and fitness center at Celebration Campus. If you wanted to share a little bit about that, because that seems to be one of the rock star things that people talk about.
So we do have a fitness center here, which everybody, when they walk by, they're like, wow, it has a spa in it. So you can get a massage, you can work out. There's a full workout area. They have fitness trainers. You can go in and get, one-on-one training. They have classes. And so a lot of our team members do have that available for them. We do have a full Olympic-sized pool also, which we usually have on Founders Day, a regatta, and we have a lot of fun with that. We build boats and race them. So we do a lot of fun activities here, but this fitness spa is definitely one that the community is able to utilize and brings them through our doors, but also the team can take advantage of this fitness center and spa.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing about that. One more question that we had posed to us was asking about somebody with a background in like a healthcare administration. I'm not sure, coming from a nursing background, if you ever know about the concept of a career path for somebody coming from that space. I know Annalie came from a business background, but then chose to go into nursing. But I don't know if you've ever, worked alongside of somebody coming in with like a healthcare administration type of degree.
There's so many opportunities at AdventHealth. So there's business development, there's marketing, there's strategic planning, there's program development. So I think if having the degree helps you, having that knowledge, that background knowledge, I would apply for some of the jobs. And if you have a passion for something, there's so many jobs. I mean, I look at my business development and strategic partners and the work that they do, and some of them have business administration as background. There's finance positions to be had. There's leadership positions over, transportation, leadership positions over, different departments. So I would just say, look to see what there is and what your passion might be, and then apply, see what there is.
Yeah, thank you. I think that, I'm going to come out and say, I really think that AdventHealth is just such a powerful space to be. And when we really say that you're valued, we really, really mean that. And there's such a difference between AdventHealth and other organizations. And I think we all felt that for those who have been here for a couple of years, when COVID hit. And, a lot of places were closing or having layoffs. And, Terry Shaw, our president and CEO, said that I want to keep everybody whole throughout COVID. I don't want anyone to lose their job due to COVID-19. And, so if you're really wondering, if you're on the fence and you wanted something to be that tipping point, I just want you to know that that's the kind of organization that AdventHealth is. And to say thank you to everybody here, especially to all of our nurses here, our nursing leadership, all the nurses out there in our audience. It's not just something just anybody can do. You know, I work in healthcare talent acquisition, and I see things like venipuncture on a resume and I'm ready to pass out. So thank you all for doing what you do every day and for caring for all of us. I am really grateful. We had some wonderful conversations going on in the chat, which is amazing. I hope that all of you will join us for Walk-In Wednesday, whether it's not tomorrow, maybe next week, but don't forget we've got holidays coming up, but definitely come out, see AdventHealth celebration, know the feeling, feel the difference. And Sky, if you would like to take us home and share that wonderful, wonderful video about AdventHealth and how we feel about you. Thank you again for everybody joining us today. We're going to do our best to wrap up some of these questions that we had in the chat, but thank you all. Thank you for our team, and we're super grateful. I wish you all a beautiful holiday.